Fontana Chamber Arts works to support the creation and performance of high-quality chamber music in Kalamazoo. David Baldwin speaks with us about the variety of ways the organization connects with community, offering unique opportunities and access to the arts.
David, it's nice to have you here.
Lovely to be here.
Could you start by telling us a little bit, as we talk about Fontana, what is chamber music? Because that's an integral part to what you do.
Sure. Well, I have a very kind of broad definition of chamber music. So typically it's considered like trios or quartets or whatever. But I just had you guys will have a clip of this, of an octet coming in. And then there's plenty of jazz ensembles that I bring in, which I consider to be chamber music because it's smaller groups performing music together. And so it can be jazz, it can be classical, it can be anything, really. It just depends on how you define it, but I have a very broad definition of it.
How has your programming changed how you do this over the years?
I try to mix it up as much as possible. I try to think about the audience. Certainly when I first got there, learning what the audience and what they're interested in and what that can also mean for me takes a while. It takes about a year or so until you figure that out. But so I think that's how it's changed, and I do. I have to respect my audience, and I do respect them. But I also have to be. I can't sell out. I have to be true to myself. So there's that balance, but that hasn't been a problem in Kalamazoo.
Academy of St. Martin and Fields?
So Academy of St. Martin in the Fields, this was an octet. So it's a group that's drawn from the Academy, which is a very famous orchestra in London. And I lived in London for 8 years, and I also had the honor of being able to tour them in the United States for a number of years. And so I knew a lot of the players, and they're all good guys. So to bring them in, I was shocked to find out that this was the first time that we had an octet performing in Kalamazoo. It was kind of stunning. But anyway, it was a beautiful program that they did. The Mendelssohn Octet, which is on the second half of the program, is just a staple in the repertoire and hugely famous. And so I was very honored to have them here.
Job aside, what is it about chamber and smaller groupings of musicians that appeals to you? What does it mean to you?
Well, I think a lot of it has to do with the fact that I was trained as a pianist, and I studied as a pianist and an accompanist. And the experience of being in a small group. So I never really had the experience of being in a large orchestral ensemble or anything like that. I was always in small situations, whether it be a recital, whether it be a trio, whether it be this, whatever. It's just much more intimate to me, and very much more meaningful. in a lot of ways. So that's just that was my background, so that's where I came from.
What is it that you think makes Kalamazoo a good place for you to host these international groups that are willing to come to Kalamazoo? I mean, I'm sure your reputation has now gotten around. I mean, they keep saying yes.
Sure. Actually, it's not just Fontana, but it has an amazing musical scene. You have the Gilmore Festival, you have the Kalamazoo Symphony, you have all, it's actually maybe too much. We have, but I don't mean that. But we have a great musical scene there, much larger than any small community I've ever seen. And, you know, having been on the management side, I dealt with a lot of smaller communities, and no one had something of this order. So I think Kalamazoo is quite, a lot of it has to do with the Gilmore Foundation, who has helped support these things. But a lot of it has to do with just the people in the community, and they love their music.
Fantastic. Well, thanks for spending some time with us. Thanks for telling us about Fontana and about the things that are coming up.
Thank you.
Support for Kalamazoo Lively Arts is provided by the Irving S. Gilmore Foundation, helping to build and enrich the cultural life of Greater Kalamazoo.